Canned Schneider, abandoned after crashing reboot. Aw, by Nicole Bristow. Welcome to ePredators Daily. I'm your host, Alexa Nikolas. Let's digest. I kind of just want to go back in time a little bit. Basically, the Business Insider article that revealed everything about Dan Schneider that people kind of already knew, but I don't know, didn't really want to talk about. That article starts with me talking about the goo that was placed on Jamie Lynn-Spears' face in one of the episodes of Zoey 101. What I really wanted to go into was this guy named Russell Hicks. First of all, I have no idea who the Russell Hicks is. He sounds like somebody who you see, like, I don't even know, like on Cops, whatever that TV show is, like someone who's getting busted for something. Like, that's Russell Hicks. I have no idea who it is. I never met him. I never saw him. I don't even know if he actually worked for Nickelodeon or not. Like, I'm not positive. Like, people might have to like check that out. Check that out and report it back to me, because I'm not positive he actually worked at Nickelodeon. But apparently he was Nickelodeon's former president of content and production. This is ridiculous. But anyways, he said that a standards and practices group read every script for Schneider's show, that programming executives watched every episode, and that parents and caregivers were always on set. First of all, you were not even on I never saw you one time. You weren't on set at all. Second of all, you should know that sometimes our parents actually weren't on set. Like, they would be chilling in the trailer, and our teacher was our guardian. Like, if our parents weren't on set, then the teacher actually was our guardian. So you don't even know what the you're talking about, Russell Hicks. But wait, this is what I wanted to see. Russell Hicks comment. We can't even find you. Do you have a LinkedIn? Well, he exited in 2016, yeah, right before the Me Too movement. He was like, why'd you and Dan disappear, like, you know, right around that time? Russell Hicks defends. Who defends Dan Schneider unless you're Dan Schneider? Like, that's what I want to know. Oh, the content, when you look up them both together, is... Where is it? So anyways, this episode aired and was seen by millions of people, and to our knowledge, who is our? To you? To Dan's knowledge. Correct him. Stupid. Not one viewer ever had a concern. Have you spoken to every viewer? First of all, I'm pretty sure there's like 10 million kids that watch Zoey 101. I really, really doubt that you spoke to every single one of them and found out that no viewer. First of all, also, if you literally search your name, Dan, all of YouTube has concern about all of your content. Actually, when you search your name, there's nothing but concern. Literally, it's like full of concern. So what viewer are you talking about? It must be like, the viewer must also be like your imaginary person close to you. Like, every single thing that Dan ever did on any of his shows was carefully scrutinized and approved. Thanks, Hicks. Thanks for letting us all know that Nickelodeon was complicit in Dan Schneider's creepy ass fucking behavior. Who are you working for? You just threw Nickelodeon under the fucking bus. You're obviously on Dan's side. You're Dan. I think maybe we now know who where Dan Schneider is. He is now Russell Hicks. He is a former president of Nickelodeon of content and production, and he oversaw everything, of course, because it's Dan Schneider overseeing his own work. This is sounding a little shady. Like, this person's like, I'm not even gonna say who the I am, because it's Schneider. You're pretending you're Russell Hicks. You're pretending you're a person close to yourself. It's just, I just picture Dan Schneider like literally morphing into different people, but it's just him the whole entire time. A person close to Schneider said that the goo was green. So it couldn't be, you know, the other thing, because it was green. It's the placement of the goo, Dan. It's the placement. You didn't use Cetaphil like Danny Elfman does, okay? Nickelodeon's reputation as the best in kids television required that nothing went on without the company knowing. Russell, you do better at calling out Nickelodeon than I did protesting Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon! Nickelodeon! So Nickelodeon knew that Dan Schneider was in the wardrobe dressing room with me when I was 12 years old. They knew. They knew every single thing creepy that happened on set. They knew about the webcam that Dan Schneider created. They approved of that too and knew every bit of that as well. I'm glad that you confirmed that. You're a great former president of Nickelodeon. There's some accountability. Like, what's the group of people? I don't even know this. There is a standards and practices group that reads every script and programming, executives looking at every episode. Add to that every day on every set. Wow, he says every and every a lot. No, wait. Hold on. We're going back. There is a standards and practices group that reads every script, one, and programming executives looking at every episode. Add to that every day on every set were the parents and caregivers and their friends watching every single frame of footage and listening to every joke. They had $1 billion brand to protect. Dude, if any of you cared about this brand, you wouldn't have said those 6 everys, okay? Because that means you knew every creepy thing that was happening on every single Nickelodeon set all the time, every time, Russell. So that's good to know. Anyways, Russell, aka Dan Schneider, ends the statement by writing every single thing. I love you. Every single thing that Dan ever did on any of his shows was carefully scrutinized and approved by executives at Nickelodeon. I'm going to read this other disgusting statement you said. Russell claims that Dan cared about the kids on his shows. Yeah, maybe he cared a little too much. You know what I mean? So anyways, cared about the kids on his shows even when their own families did not. Are you a like you're picking on the kids that you were supposed to protect at Nickelodeon. Like, you're supposed to be the mature adult president of Nickelodeon. And look at how catty and immature you are in this statement. You want us to feel like even worse about the fact that we have trauma? That's gross, your statement. He was the shoulder they cried on. What shoulder? When were we crying? I was crying because of Dan Schneider. That's how I know for a fact you don't exist. Because if you actually were the president of Nickelodeon, you would have known that Dan Schneider made me cry. I never cried on Dan Schneider's shoulder. Dan Schneider made me cry. He understood what they were going through. Did he? That sounds ridiculous. He understood nothing about what we were going through at the time. He didn't even care for what we were going through. Did you read Jeanette McCurdy's book? Because from my memory, the creator literally was egging her on to drink alcohol at a young age. Dan was like the great high school counselor you could always turn to for help and guidance, dude. And he was their biggest champion. He was not my fucking biggest champion. That is offensive. This is like a love letter to Dan more than it is a defense. Thank you, though, for at least letting us know that Nickelodeon was actually extremely complicit in Dan Schneider's creepy behavior. Round of applause for Russell Hicks. Came in strong. I don't believe he exists, though. I don't know what this movie's about, but I didn't even realize they never got together. Like, wouldn't it be Chase and Zoey's wedding? Like, I don't know. Anyways, that looks awful. I don't know what to say about that movie. It felt as fake as Russell Hicks and the person close to Schneider to me. That's like, it feels like a weird dream or something. I don't know what to say about that. I hope that Chase and Zoey finally get together. I mean, this has been too long at this point. A lot of pent up energy going on there, and I hope that they're able to kiss or whatever. What adults do. Consensual, or like Justin Long says,
of age, yes.
Yeah.
Consensual.
I hope that they're able to do of age consensual now, and I wish them of age consensual good riddance. Team Penske. Noah all riled up over allegations of omitting another key fact by Creep Eek Meek. What do these men have in common?